Valentine's Day. We'd like to welcome everybody to the Ottawa City Commission study session. Start off, do we have any public comments?
You've been registered today.
All right, thank you. We have items to be placed on the regular City Commission agenda, which is the minutes from the February 2nd regular meeting, the February 7th study session, and the February 7th special call meeting. Commissioners, did you have a chance to look that over? And if so, do you have any changes or anything to be made? We good with putting that onto the regular agenda?
Actually, on the February 2nd, on the last page there, it just says Mayor Kaler made the following announcements. I'm pretty sure it's you, Eric.
All right.
Mayor Crowley.
Thank you for catching that.
And then Ian Dickinson's name is spelled wrong. Just in the paragraph above.
Any other changes? Thank you. Are we good with moving that on to the regular agenda? Thank you. That moves us on to the items of presentation and discussion. We're going to start off with Brenda Fidzenmeyer from the Franklin County Health Department. She's going to give us an update on COVID and everything like that. Brenda, how are you?
Great. How are you today?
Good.
Good. You can hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, great. I just want to thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing me to join you for a brief summary today of an update for you. I appreciate your time and also everything that you're doing for the city and the county. I appreciate that. I'll start with the current numbers that we have. And the last time that I presented was end of January 27th, and you should come see on the screen here some of the numbers. The last time that I was here, we reported that there was a 27.10 positivity rate. As you can tell, as of last Friday, it has dropped to 20.71%. Also, the last time I was here that week, we had 324 new cases. And as of last Friday, now we're 79 new cases. So lots less tests, lots of people not as sick, which is great news for us and the whole wide world, of course. But of course, we're not still at that 2 to 3% that you heard Dr. Ransom talk about last time. So we're still asking and strongly encouraging that you do all the things that you've been doing with the social distancing and wearing your mask and of course, washing your hands, staying home if you're sick. All those kinds of things. It's still very vital that we do these things. That way we can continue to watch the cases and everything go down with it. The other thing, any questions with that before I move on to a couple other updates?
Nope.
All right, so the other thing, the last time I was here, we were in the planning process of when our next vaccine clinics would be. We have one tomorrow. And that is a Moderna one that will also offer first and second doses, and it also is a booster dose. So we have that clinic tomorrow, and it starts at 9:30 in the morning. And again, we're taking current calls for that. If anybody needs a first, second dose, or also a booster dose, you can call the 785-229-3530. Then we also added there's our handouts there. Thank you guys so very much. I appreciate that. So we also have then on February 18th, we have added a pediatric COVID Pfizer vaccine clinic. And that one does begin at 1. So just again, if anyone needs to get their vaccine, the Franklin County Health Department is happy to help them with that. And even if it's not during our times, we have lots of resources, as we talked about last time. All the pharmacies in town has done a great job of supporting to make sure that everybody can get vaccinated. So just wanted to give a couple quick updates with that. Any questions or any suggestions for us?
Commissioners, any questions for Brenda? I don't believe so. Brenda, thank you very much. We appreciate you and your staff doing all the hard work to keep everybody updated.
Thank you for your guys' service as well. Thank you so much. Have a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
That will move us on to item 2. It'll be an update on Bike Across Kansas and Legacy Square from John Cohen from the Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce. Good afternoon,
Good
John.
afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Honorable Commission. I appreciate the opportunity again to continue our great partnership that we have both as chamber members and also with Legacy Square and Onward Ottawa, and also with events that we have the opportunity to bring to our community. I had actually had a whole typewritten set of notes to bring this afternoon, and I walked out of the office without it. So this might greatly reduce or shorten the report. So if you have any too tough questions, I might have to get the information to you. But I'll just start a little bit on Legacy Square with things that we have scheduled for this summer and into the early fall. And we'll again be having our annual flea junk and trunk, which will be in May, and that always brings a lot of people to the community. And looking forward to that. We've actually started advertising on social media just for vendors at this point, and hope that we have a good showing. That's always been very popular. And if we can get good weather, it seems like it's been challenging at times to have good weather. We either have wind or rain, but if we have great weather, we always have a great attendance at that event from outside of the community. Another big event that'll be happening in June is Cowtown Get Down, which is not hosted by the chamber, but is a local group that is putting on a bicycle show. And I think not a bicycle, but a motorcycle. And primarily it's people that make bikes themselves and put them together. And I think it's they're doing it jointly with Legacy Square and the Bottle House. And so it ought to be interesting. But that'll also be a good event that should have the opportunity to bring people to the community. And of course, we're all excited about Bike Across Kansas. I mentioned that in this group before, and plans are evolving for that. They'll be headquartered mostly at the high school, and we're working at figuring out shuttle buses back and forth to the downtown, trying to figure out some activities that we can have both in the downtown central, and then that evening a Travis Marvin concert at Legacy Square. We know that this group isn't going to want to go late into the night. I mean, they bike clear across Kansas. They've only got one more leg of the trip to go. They go from here to Lewisburg on Saturday morning, but we're planning a breakfast for them. The Family and Consumer Science Group is going to do it as a fundraiser, and if they need help, they'll probably approach the FFA group, but they're planning to do that morning and offer that as a fundraiser for their group. And we hope to have activities in the downtown in partnership with the ORC and then some of our downtown businesses who are just natural draws on their own to have activities in the downtown. And we hope that we can have enough activities that it draws people from the general community into the activities too. That's our goal at least, so we'll see how that goes. Then we don't have final plans or firm plans, maybe would be a more correct way to say it, for farmers market, but we're still working to have a farmers market in Legacy Square. I've had two conversations with Brenda Hayden, who is the chairman of the Orshland Farmers Market, the one that meets in South Iowa, and she knows that a fair amount of her members are interested in coming down here, but that a fair amount of them aren't, and some of you are more familiar with others and the politics involved with that, but we're trying to overcome some of that and see if we can't figure out if there's maybe one time a week or if there's any kind of a concessions we can do to allow them to come to try to provide opportunities for entertainment at their market when it's down here. So we're still working on that, but nothing firm to announce on that yet. The Sons of Sterling are going to have a concert on August 12th. That's going to be a chamber-sponsored event. The head roadie for that group, of course, is our own Commissioner Sarah Taylor, whose husband plays the bass for that group, I believe, and Sarah's the lead vocalist, if I'm not mistaken.
Not sure.
Come sell tickets.
Great point. That is an excellent point.
But that's going to be August 12th, and so that's another local band that we think will have the opportunity to bring people in. A couple events that are also being planned that are not chamber events, but are going to be good events, I'm sure. The Bad Aster is repeating on the third weekend of September. They're hoping to have close to 500 riders this time. They had 150 last time, and in a COVID year, and so they're hoping to expand that. The United Way is having their kickoff drive on a day-long event, August 6th in Legacy Square. And then just today, we had an application to use Legacy Square for a Good Friday service on April 15th. So I'm glad that it's finding, the event space is finding a way to be in the life and the community's thought process as they start thinking about events for the space. I know that we've had some growing pains, not the least of which was COVID. And really, I hate to even mention that as a growing pain because all of us are dealing with that on a regular basis. But it has caused us to have to cancel events, and of course, right after the space opened, it suffered from not being able to really use it as we hoped to initially. But everybody is figuring out how to overcome that, and events are happening now. And the fact that it's an outdoor space makes it popular. Last year we had Fusion down there. I'm sure we'll have Fusion again there this year with the university, and we're looking to add some other events. We haven't talked about movie nights or anything like that, but those are all potential that had good draws last year. And then we're still also encouraging other groups to plan on having events down there. So that's kind of a shorthand of it. Is there any questions, or does anybody have any specific questions that I could respond to?
I've got one regarding that, like across Kansas. So Legacy Square, how will it be used? I realize you're not a concert that night, but will there also be food trucks or other things going on?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll try to have some food trucks available, Commissioner. That's our intent. But we also would like to bring people into the downtown and encourage them to use some of our downtown restaurants too. So that was kind of the idea, thinking that if we could get the Ottawa Rec Commission, and Levi is already on board with this, so we just need to figure out what the possibilities might be. If maybe we could sponsor a movie kind of early in the day, late afternoon, early evening. But if people come down at 4, some of them might go ahead and eat down there in some of our downtown restaurants, especially if we could get some of them to offer some specials and things like that. We're going to highlight anything that is more or less a destination, such as the Depot Museum, the Gun Guys, Plaza Cinema, Maggie's. We're hoping that some of our downtown businesses might stay open later into the evening. Because there's a lot of good opportunities down there that if people, even if they don't necessarily spend on this, because remember they're on bicycles, but they do have a cargo truck that travels with them, so they can, and some of them also have support groups that travel. So, but more than anything, to just see what's available in the community, that it might cause them to come back at some other point in time and actually spend some serious shopping dollars. So. That's our goal, and then but in the evening hours we would like to have some food trucks over at Legacy Square when we have the Travis Barber concert. We're looking to figure out what transportation could be. We have several ideas. Originally we thought maybe 290 could help us out with that, but it seems like their insurance is not going to allow them to use those buses for a non-school sponsored event. So we're looking other directions, but we've got some good ideas and we're working on that now.
Now, will they use the bike trails at all? It's just going all on highway trail.
It'll be coming, they'll be coming from Opie, Kansas up to Ottawa. And so primarily they'll be on Old Highway 50 coming from Opie up here. And they actually start at Syracuse, Kansas, out on the western side of the state. So I don't think it's 100% Old Highway 50, but no, they won't be using any of the trails. Of course, I don't know what they might do once they get to the community. We've been told that people we'll probably start seeing the first of the bikers come into the community around noon, because some of them get up early to beat the heat of the day and then get here in good time, but then they'll kind of travel in from 3 to 4 o'clock. Usually the first thing they want to do is find a place where they can shower, and a lot of them like to even take a nap after they've And bearing in mind, it's been a kind of a long physical week for them. So, but also they said a lot of times in the evenings, they're really not looking for anything to do, but they said the exception is the Friday evening, which is the last night. And so we're lucky enough to be that host city on the last night. So we want to have some things, realizing they're probably not going to want to go late into the evening, but if we can have some things in the late afternoon and maybe something more for the community and for those that tend to be don't mind staying up late, and even for those that aren't necessarily biking, but just traveling with the bikers, to have that opportunity for activities.
Last time we had this here was.
It was, I'm gonna say, I don't know the year for sure, but probably like 2009 or 10, something like that. It predated me being at the chamber. It was just before I came to the chamber. It's a great opportunity. And of course, they were going to be here the year it was canceled for COVID. They've been canceled now for 2 years. And so they didn't actually resurrect the exact same route, but a similar one. And so it was good that they reconsidered Ottawa as a destination or a stop place. And so we're very happy about that.
Good opportunity to showcase our trails once
It
again.
is.
These are bikers are gonna
Right.
use them,
And
so-
we're looking for things that we can hand off. I know different groups have reached out to us, including Advent Health kind of wants to have a presence to, and also Jeff Carroll has mentioned that he'll be available for service and repairs, as well as the Bad Aster group, which is another bike group. And they're also very familiar with a lot of the riders on the Bike Across Kansas, and they've reached out, and of course, them and Jeff are great friends too, and they want to partner in some sort of a, bike, I suppose, flat tires or whatever. I suppose, you just have service issues when you're biking that far, but you just can't lift up the hood, right? Yeah. Anything else?
Hopefully so. John, thank you. Thank you for the
Just think how
information.
long it would have been if I'd have remembered my papers, right? Rolling your eyes down there.
Do we need to thank Sherry for you not bringing that information?
No, she actually left a few minutes before me. Actually, we had somebody stop in right as I was getting ready to leave, and it just threw me off my pages, so.
Well, thank you. That was wonderful information, and it's exciting to hear all the events that are coming up that are going to happen here in town.
And I'm always available if you have any specific questions, or if you want to communicate to me through Richard as commission. Of course, I'll provide answers to anything that you need to know, so.
Thank you, John. We appreciate
You
that.
bet. Thank you.
That will move us on to the next item. It is a fundraiser presentation from Cal Lantis from the Ottawa Main Street Association.
I've got an accomplice today too. Sherry Lund is with me, and is it all right if we just stand? Hopefully our presentation won't be that long. So I'm gonna throw John under the bus a little bit. I'm gonna apologize because I know we didn't have his notes with him, but the Main Street Association is gonna be heavily involved in the downtown activities with Bike Across Kansas. So,
And to be fair, I didn't have my list of partners. There's been a lot of partner organizations.
I said I'm gonna give you a pass because you didn't have it today. Not next time.
Okay.
Thank you for, Merrick and Commissioners, thank you for letting us come up today. As you know, there was a lot of discussion after the passing of Luther Cove on how we should honor his presence in downtown in a subtle but nice way for all the stories that he's presented in the downtown. And Main Street was working on something, and Sherry at the Chamber was working on something. And so we got together and we put this little presentation together. Something we'd like to do, we'd like to, on June the 8th, we would like to have a little ceremony at noon down at Haley Park. We would like to, at that time, dedicate what they call a buddy bench, which I think Commissioner Kaler is very familiar with, and put a little monument down there to sort of commemorate the fact that Luther was always in our downtown. And Luther was always calling everybody buddy, and Luther was always sitting on a park bench watching the street. So our plan is to use all private funds except for what little money the city would have. And we've already talked to Dennis about this and Jeff McCurdy. Justin McCurdy, about helping us set the monument in the corner of the curb in front of Haley Park, and also to install the bench for us. So we've talked to him and we've talked to Richard, and they both suggested that we come next for your either endorsement or your blessing, whichever you prefer to give us. And Sherry's been doing all of the legwork. She's been doing the research on our where we can get buddy benches, because I'd never even heard of one before. I don't think you had either.
No.
So buddy benches, and she's reached out to a couple of places for cost on monuments. Would you like to talk to them a little about that? Or would you?
In talking with Dodds Memorial in regards to the monument or the headstone, they come back with saying that they will donate that headstone for us, which would cost over $1,300. And so they will donate that for us. And what we'd ask for is a slanted monument. So that way, if you're standing, you can read it more easily than if it's straight up and down, if that makes sense. And so I reached out to them again today to see if we could have whatever we put on the front on both sides of that monument. And due to the type of stone it is, they're not able to put the engraving on both sides, but at least they're going, and they're very willing to donate that. So we greatly appreciate that. And so really the funds that we're looking for will be to cover the bench. And so we're thinking probably anywhere from 2,000 maybe to 2,500 is what we'll be trying to get for our fundraiser. And then any funds that we have left over, we will donate that in Luther's behalf to Hope House. So does anybody have any questions maybe that we haven't covered, or would like to offer suggestions on? The headstone, you guys have a copy of the headstone, and it's just an example of what the headstone looks like and what we'll be putting on it. We'll be looking for any kind of a quote to put on there, but I just kind of covered up what they had on the headstone that they sent me, and then I just put that information on there. So that's just an example. So we can put whatever we want to on there.
We're really sort of in the preliminary stages, and we thought, especially in honor of Luther, maybe instead of having a moment of silence during our ceremony, we might ask the police department and the fire department and some others to come down and give us a moment of sirens instead of a moment of silence for Luther. I think that would be appropriate. So we haven't started raising funds yet. We actually wanted to wait until we had your approval of this process, because we're going to be using some city resources. And so once we have that, we're not going to do a GoFundMe. We don't think we'll need to do that. We're just going to put on our social media page and on the chamber social media page a request for donations that will be collected at the chamber, and we'll get the stuff ordered, and we'll go from there and plan on June the 8th. So I think we are asking a couple of local people, well, one here in Ottawa and one in Lawrence, if they would be interested in making the buddy bench for us, because they've got to have not only they have to have metal work capabilities, but they've got to have CNC capabilities and probably powder coating capabilities. So we're looking at a couple of hopefully local vendors for that, rather than go outside of the community. Questions?
Commissioners, any questions or suggestions?
Just thank you so much for putting this together. I spoke with Sherry last week about this particular endeavor, and it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor. I did suggest when Sherry and I were talking that maybe the city wanted to look at naming June 8th Luther Day for the city, and encourage us to do, some kind of act of kindness towards another, and encourage our city to really show fellowship to others.
It's like Cal said, we will be doing, our intent is and hopeful that we'll be doing the unveiling that day, June 8th, which was his birthday. He would have been 52. And Luther came into the chamber and see me every day, and I really miss him. And so it means a lot to me. And hopefully that we'll have the community support behind us. And so.
I don't think we need a formal vote at a city commission meeting, but we'd like to know that we have your endorsement or approval before we go forward. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I will move us on to item 4, which is a joint proclamation with the city of Surprise, Arizona, This is a proclamation for Dr. Kevin Eichner. Kevin was part of the board of the Ottawa University, and I believe Commissioner Skidmore, are you going to read that? Okay, thank you.
Well, just to kind of start off with, I've enjoyed serving on the President's Council of the University for about the last 10 or 11 years. Along with the trustees, we would meet occasionally in Surprise with John was there. And it was a great honor to meet the City Council and Mayor of Surprise when this all got started. Well, not started, but we pretty well looked all over the entire valley for the last 10 years trying to find a site for a satellite branch of the university. And suddenly came back to where we started from, because we had a site there, a temporary site. And then the City of Surprise did some wonderful financial gifts, basically, I say, to make that thing happen. They wanted a university, and they chose Ottawa University. We're certainly glad they did. But they're just wonderful people down there, wonderful city commission, and the mayor at that time I met, wonderful people. So let me just start the proclamation by reading, whereas the City of Ottawa established its partnership with Ottawa University in 1865, where the City of Surprise established its partnership with Ottawa University in 2017. And whereas Dr. Kevin Eichner graduated from Ottawa University in 1973, and whereas Dr. Kevin Eichner was elected to the Ottawa University Board of Trustees in 1985, and whereas Dr. Kevin C. Eichner was named president of Ottawa University in 2008, and whereas Marilyn Eichner faithfully served as First Lady of Ottawa University for 14 years, and whereas Dr. Kevin Eichner revitalized and expanded the agreement with the Ottawa Tribe of Oklahoma in 2008, whereas Dr. Kevin Eichner led celebration of the sesquicentennial in 2015. Whereas Dr. Kevin Eichner envisioned the expansion of and led the establishment of Ottawa University's residential footprint in Surprise in 2017. And whereas Dr. Kevin Eichner oversaw development and philanthropic activities that led to the construction of the Gibson Student Center and Ganglish Library and the Odell Center, along with other university advancements. Now therefore let it be resolved that we, Eric Crowley, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, and Skip Hall, Mayor of the City of Surprise, be hereby recognized Dr. Kevin C. Eichner as leader, visionary, and friend, and Marilyn Eichner as a champion, supporter, and hostess, to hereby proclaim February 18, 2022 as Dr. Kevin C. Eichner and Marilyn Eichner Day. Signed by our Mayor, Eric Crowley.
Thank you. And I believe, John, you're going to accept the proclamation.
Well, yes, it really gives me an honor to accept this on behalf of the university. I've been on the Board of Trustees since 2013, so this is my 9th year. And undoubtedly, the fact that Kevin came as the university president, the facility had flagged under 2 or 3 successive presidents, and he really allowed the university to have a great success in the last 10 years that we are seeing currently, to have near 800 students on that campus now and have it back to the glory that it was once back in the 60s and 70s is just absolutely fascinating. And the fact that we have partnered with Surprise, which Mike briefly described, but is going to be even another financial advantage for the entire organization to be in one of the larger communities in the United States in terms of growth, and certainly an underserved area for secondary education or post-secondary education. And so having that university down there in partnership with the university here in our own community, I don't think we have to really go into great detail about what a economic flagship the university is here in this community, but having Kevin come in there, and he has that amazing quality to cause an organization and all those around him to raise all tides, so to speak. So appreciate the commission acknowledging this. Kevin has retired. I think his official retirement date is actually June 30th, and he's greatly reduced his workload and stepped aside. And so I think honoring him in this way is a great thing. And so thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm getting ready to head to Arizona this week to participate in board meetings down there. So
Can handle it.
I will.
All right.
I will, and hopefully it's not too chilly down there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, that'll move us on to item 5, which is resolution approving the final plat for Kroll Cabins and accepting dedication of all easements. This will be brought to us by Jennifer Reinhardt. Hello, Jennifer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've prepared a brief presentation, if I may share my screen. Okay. So the item before this honorable body today is to consider a minor plat for Crowell Cabins that separates one previously platted lot into 2 lots. And so just for context, this shows the general location of the proposed lot split, as well as the current zoning and the future land use. And this proposal is to separate one previously platted lot that's currently part of the Riverview addition into 2 lots in order to allow for a new lot to be established that will front off Wilson Street. And the way it's platted does still allow the northern lot to have access to Hemlock Street. So no new streets or public facilities are being requested as part of this application. And the intent is that a new single-family home will be constructed on the newly created southern lot. And this is in conformance with the R1 zoning, as well as the future land use low density residential. And so this is the final plat before you today for this minor plat. The split will result in the southern lot will be approximately 16,300 square feet. The northern portion will be 122,700 square feet. And as each of the new lots meets the minimum lot size for the subdivision regulations, and each lot will also have sufficient frontage. And since neither of them are in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the zoning regs, the proposal does meet the criteria to complete a minor plat as submitted. The Planning Commission has reviewed this application and conducted a public hearing in May of 2021, and they did approve the minor plat with the condition of some minor revisions and additional information. That has been received by staff and reviewed. Staff believes that the plat before you today is in substantial conformance, and we are requesting that the resolution to accept the easements as well as the final plat be tentatively placed on this Wednesday's agenda, since this is a fairly straightforward review for subdividing one lot into 2, and we're recommending approval. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time for this proposal.
I've got a question there. That driveway from that larger lot looks like it kind of angles southeast.
Yeah, I'll pull that back up. Excuse me. There we go.
Yeah. So that empties into Hemlock, is that right?
I'm sorry, you cut out there. What was the question?
Does the driveway empty into Hemlock Street?
Correct. And that is the existing driveway.
And is there a street there? Because I've never noticed that.
Hemlock, yes, it ends just north of that driveway. It's a bit unusual, but it is there and it is a public street.
Commissioners, any other questions for Jennifer?
This is Commissioner Kaler speaking. I have a question about the new proposed lot. So the new proposed lot will need access to Wilson Street, correct?
Correct.
Need to be have driveway. Okay, so just a note that there will be. They're not sharing the driveway from the old Swim for Life. They will design and build their own new access.
Correct. That will go on to Wilson, not Hemlock.
Yes.
Jennifer, do you know if there were any public comments at the public hearing back in 2021?
So in reviewing the minutes, there were no public comments received.
So no neighbors were concerned.
Not that I have seen either in the minutes or in our records. We haven't received any positive or negative comments.
Commissioners, any other questions? They're recommending that we advance this to our meeting on Wednesday. Is that okay with the commission? All right, we'll do that.
Thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Thank you, you too. That'll move us on to item 6, which is a memo of understanding, an MOU, for the solar project with Evergy Review. Darby, are you going to be?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mr. Mayor, Honorable Commission, I think that most of what you need to know is in that memo. I'm sure Dennis can answer any questions along with myself if you have any, but this memorandum of understanding has been presented to you guys and discussed at length in previous meetings. It's just understanding between the city and Evergy for this preliminary stage as they figure out the logistics for the period before an actual purchase, solar purchase and sale agreement is entered into. I know later than December 31st of 2023. If you have any questions, I stand ready to answer any, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And again, you guys have been, it's been discussed, I know, in several meetings, but it's just a brief agreement between the city and Evergy.
Commissioners, any questions for either Darby or Dennis? Was this a generic MOU that Evergy submitted, or?
It was worked on by the council for Evergy as well as myself with the city and Blaine. We've approved it. It is pretty straightforward, pretty typical of these agreements, this memorandum of understanding.
Commissioners, they're recommending advancing this to the regular meeting on Wednesday also. Are we comfortable with moving that to Wednesday's agenda also, or would you like to discuss it some more? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, and we'll do that then too. We'll move that to Wednesday's agenda. Thank you, Darby.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us on to item 7. Chief Matthias is going to talk to us about a donation that he received from Country Financial.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Just want to come before you. We received a donation of $750 from Eric Carlson. He's the area agent for Country Financial. He's a former law enforcement person here in the county, and they have a program called Helping Heroes. And so what we're going to do, turn around, they donated to us last year, I believe. We're going to turn around and buy smoke detectors to continue our program for free smoke detectors in the city. So that'll get us about 160, 170. I just wanted to come before you and let people know. Country Financial has been a big supporter of us this last couple of years. So
Has Country Financial been apprised of what you suggested that you would do with that
I
donation?
So I told him we'd continue what we did last year. So now he came down.
And he was, okay.
Are they located in our community?
He's the local agent for this area, but I believe their headquarters is in Pilgrim Park. So, yeah, local.
Chief, I believe in the past you guys have actually installed some of
We
those
do.
smoke detectors for folks that have.
Yeah, so anybody that needs any smoke detectors, just call or come down and we give them out. Have to fill out a real simple form so we can keep track of where they go. And then if you need assistance in installation.
With installation and with installation of new batteries too,
And
because you want to
batteries,
make sure
yes,
that your
yes.
batteries are current.
We're probably buying the ones with the 10-year lithium-ion batteries now.
Yeah, they're not 10 years, but they do last longer than the standard battery. But I look back and I believe we're about 15 years in the program. So we order roughly 300 smoke detectors a year. So we're getting up there.
I was gonna say this donation would get you what, 75 to 100 probably?
About 160.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we currently get them from Home Depot. They've helped us through the years, and we just can't beat the prices.
Have you ever gone back afterwards and recognized that we put one in this home 5 years ago?
Yeah. So what we do is we'll mark them with a label maker, just so we know those are the ones that we put in. And we put the date that they're installed. So every smoke detector by law has to have a manufacturer date on it, and it's usually on the cover or the plate that goes up to the ceiling. And it has a manufacturer date on it, so they're good for 10 years. And it's ironic how close that comes to that, and they start acting up. And so,
At 2 o'clock in the morning
well,
normally. Mine is.
dust is the demon.
Designed for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
But have you had any fires or anywhere that you've had these installed in the past that saved some people? Is there any way to?
you know, I don't recall offhand. I know we've had some fires in the past that through our public education, going to schools, we've made the differences there. But as far as, I know we have. There's so many around town. That's what I think. Yeah. We could probably look that up. But we got database.
My kids wouldn't know it's almost dinner time if our smoke detector wasn't going on.
That's not because of you, right?
Right.
Somebody else would think you did that, yeah.
It's ready.
Well done.
Dinner bell.
Yeah. All right.
Chief, thank you.
That's exciting.
And certainly let Country Financial know that we appreciate that donation. That's
Okay, will
wonderful
do.
for our community.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us on to item 8, comments by the city manager. I believe, Melanie, you have to relay some information to us.
Yes, just very briefly, wanted to let you know that we will have a presentation for you on the 21st regarding ARPA funds.
All right, thank you. That'll move us on to comments by the city commissioners. Commissioner Kaler,
None at this time.
Commissioner Graves.
I was just gonna say, we had a good productive retreat with John Devine a week ago, and I think that went well. And tonight I get to spend my Valentine's evening with the Main Street Board. We have a meeting tonight at 6:30. That is it.
Thank you. Commissioner Wygon, I see you on there. Do you have any report?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. One thing, I got the opportunity to tour Ottawa University in Surprise, Arizona, and I tell you what, I was just blown away of that campus and all the amenities they have down there. Really, it is outstanding. But and a great tour by Todd Simpson, and then I run into our friend Dennis Tyner, who's the president of that university, and we had a nice little conversation. And Dennis said hi to everyone, and it was just a really nice event. And I met a couple of at least one of the trustees emeritus. Unfortunately, I don't recall his name. He's a Baptist minister. John might know him. Lives in Wichita. But anyway, that was a really neat experience. Let me see. I think you got another something about me on the agenda. We're going to talk about that at some time.
Yeah, do you want to discuss it now?
Well, we can. You know, I got the. I really regret personally having to do that, but maybe today is a good day. 26 years ago today, I began my public life with the on Valentine's Day of 1996. I was sworn in as a county commissioner. And so when if you accept my resignation, today will be 26 years even of either being in office or being around in other duties with the Chamber of Economic Development, and then a brief pause, and then back with the city. And so I have submitted my resignation, regretfully, but I am probably overriding my my personal ambition is to remain in my real estate business, but I'm going to be traveling quite a bit. The plan is to see more of America and the world, and my understanding is being gone that much, people might think I am slacking my city duties and that. And so rather than doing so many from Zoom and from a distance, is why I am submitting my resignation to you. With all due respect, I hope I've contributed some things to the community, and will continue to be active as much as I can be. And you guys have been great to be with. And there's so many exciting things going on in Ottawa now, from the solar farm, from the new dealerships, the new Starbucks, the things that are coming in, the housing and things. So I will continue to be an ambassador and sell as much of how great a community we have as possible. But under the circumstances, I am submitting my resignation with a certain amount of personal regret, but it's been great. That's all I have.
Thank you, Tom. Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore.
Well, yeah, Tom, let me just say, I do respect you. I respect your decision. I just want to thank you for all the years of service. You've made our community a better place. I'm starting 26 years ago. I didn't realize it'd been that many years ago, but I'm sure it's a difficult decision for you because I know you're very committed to this community, but you can serve in other capacities, of course. But just want to say thank you for all your service. So I really
Well,
appreciate it, Tom.
thank you. I appreciate that. And there just comes a time in your life that you decide that maybe I ought to take some time, and you just got to give up something. So that's where I'm at. It's been a great 26 years, I can tell you that.
You and Tom Brady have something in common, I guess. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go with that.
Well, Tom, I appreciate you're there at Surprise. I had to say one more thing about Surprise. I remember years ago when we invited the city commission and city manager come down to see the university here. And he toured everything, toured the town, met a lot of people. And the next year when they made the decision, I think it was, to expand there at Surprise, and the city made a significant donation in Surprise. And I remember the city manager saying something, I visited Ottawa. I don't remember much of the words that were said, but I remember how I felt. And a lot of times our feelings help us make the decision. So he met the people here in Ottawa, and it speaks a lot about our community, about the people here. And I think it had a lot to do with that decision to expand. So I just wanted to say thank you, Ottawa, for embracing them when they came, and they loved it, and they made that decision accordingly. So
it's obvious. The campus is right next to City Hall down there, to the fire department, and they have nothing. The local mayor there was very instrumental in, I guess, negotiating for the land and negotiating their partnership, and that partnership remains strong today. And Kevin Eichner, who could have done a better job than him of really saving Ottawa University, not only in Ottawa, but growing it in Surprise and all it has become. And so that is just a wonderful accomplishment, and he should have all of the credit and as much as possible, because I know he gave them 10 years and more, as well as all the graduates and people associated with Ottawa University, that what they've come through with the funding and the resources to grow, as well as the mission statement, is outstanding. And I was just so impressed. It was amazing. With talked to a few of the students. A few students love it. Everything from the weight room to the basketball courts to the football field and the press box is just absolutely first class. So it's a great thing for Ottawa University to be there, and for us to get some recognition from where they came from.
That'll move on to the comments by the mayor, and I too want to echo what Pro Tem Skidmore was saying about Tom. 26 years is a long time to be involved in politics, and quite honestly, it says a lot about you, what the public thought about you, to keep you involved in politics for that long. They appreciated your knowledge. They appreciated your comments, and they certainly appreciated your decision-making. And I appreciated sitting next to you for an extended period of time up here on the dais, and it was an enjoyable time for me. I learned a lot from you. I'm glad you said ambassador earlier, because I think you're going to be a wonderful ambassador for the city of Ottawa. That aura just feeds off of you everywhere you go. That you talk about Ottawa, and everything is always about that. We certainly appreciate that.
I tried to do that down here. When people ask where Ottawa is, it's the center of the universe. You drive a post there and run a rope around it and go around it. That's the world. So I appreciate those remarks, Eric. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Darby, you mentioned accepting the resignation. Is that something we need to necessarily do?
It's more of a formality, but yeah, if you guys would like to, that would be the time.
Just discuss it. We don't need a motion or anything like that.
I might say that I do have regrets on giving up that much income, but
Tough on all of us.
it was enough to pay my HOA dues, but I'll figure out how to get by with that. But you guys deserve more, and someday maybe people realize that and insist you take more. But have a lot of responsibility, a lot of direction. You can, you have the opportunity to continue to make our community a progressive community and grow it in the right manner and accept the businesses and the people who come to Ottawa to make it the great city that it is. And we'll just continue to get better, I think. So anyhow, that's what I'm giving up.
Well, Tom, you talked about giving up the pay, and we'll send you your last check, but the state's going to eat up most of it.
Okay, I look forward to
it. Commissioners, I guess we're just, if everybody's okay, we're accepting Tom's resignation. All right. Tom, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time you spent here.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Right. That will also, we're gonna go into executive session. I move that this body recess into executive session for a period of 20 minutes for the purpose of holding a preliminary discussion regarding real property with Dennis Starr, Paul Bean, and Darby Van Houten in attendance. We will reconvene. Do you guys want to take a break, or do you just want to go right in? You just want to go right in? Okay. We will reconvene at 5:13, and no action will be taken. Thank you.